It's a beautiful day to you, our lovely and smart real estate investors, both at home and also in diaspora. I'm super delighted to be on your screen today. And my name is Adijari, and I help people not to make terrible real estate investments by getting involved in companies that they hope not to. In case you're coming across this channel for the first time, I've done an episode on Ibeju Lekki, I've done an episode on Ekpe, I've done an episode on chocolate, I've done an episode on how to verify land documents all by yourself. I've done episode on how to identify a manipulative and a fraudulent real estate investment. We've done an extensive video that will help you, not lose money in times of real estate investment. So what you can do basically is that you can, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell so that when I drop a video, our video addresses different aspects of real estate investment, from buying, documentation, verification, and everything that will help you not to lose money. So in case you're coming across this channel for the first time, you're at the right place. Do well to just subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell so that when we drop a video, you will see. Now, the goal of Property Matter is to reach as many people as possible, and you can make this thing a reality for us by subscribing to this channel. We'll find out that a lot of people are viewing our videos, they're taking a lot of lessons, and they are not subscribing, which is not so encouraging to us as a part. So, it is only on this channel you get to hear the ABC of real estate investment, how not to get scammed, a lot of things you should put into consideration before doing the real estate. So please help us subscribe to this channel. Encourage your friends and other people who are viewing this video to do so. Let us get as many as 1,000 Nigerians who are perhaps at home or in diaspora. I'll be back immediately after this short commercial.
With increasing housing deficit and economic situation in the country, this desire is almost unachievable for many. Some turn to real estate companies offering flexible payment options and promising to help them achieve their desire. In this report, Gist Nigeria's Chief Olatide looks at how some of these real estate companies take advantage of unsuspecting buyers and what you must do not to be scammed.
A semi-unregulated multi-trillion naira industry, leaving many Nigerians at the mercy of real estate companies. The ugly sides of the business have left many disappointed, heartbroken, and sometimes homeless. Osaronse Imariagbe traveled to Italy in search of greener pastures. He worked hard to own property back home in Nigeria. And to avoid land fraud, he turned to a real estate company.
They said the total package is 1,650,000. So I do the first deposit, then I keep paying every month. So I finished my payment January 2nd, 2020. They now say I should wait for 6 months. The 6 months complete. I keep sending message, they drop document that are finished payments. When are you going to do the normal physical allocation? So they keep posting, a lot of people subscribe on that estate. So I have to wait until I get to my own batch.
After 2 years, Osaronse was allocated a piece of land, but not the one he paid for.
It's like you now want to go and buy that place. You understand? Because I have made payments, so they can't refund my money. They want to refund, they will now remove something. They know what they are doing.
Emmanuel Ihanacho bought a real estate offering, hoping to live in a certain area of Lagos, southwest Nigeria. But his hopes stumbled when he came face to face with reality.
They took me to one estate that they are selling. Then after paying the money, when they want to allocate the plus, they took me to another place different from what they showed me in the first place. So
Osaronse and Emmanuel are lucky to finally get allocated. There are stories of others left in the cold or duped outright. Scams in the Nigerian real estate sector come in different forms, and newspaper headlines scream in bold texts. Tolulokwe Onolaja, an estate developer, offers a plausible explanation for two of the most common malpractices in the industry: reallocation of land and hidden charges.
you hear cases of reassigning people to other estates. So you could buy a property, and at the end of the day, you try to resolve the issues on it, and it's unresolvable. So do you go back to the clients to say, oh, it's unresolvable? So they'll be like, oh, that means you told us a lie. So sometimes we just have to look for another alternative in, close to what they had bought to take them to. Nigerians generally, and mostly human beings, we don't read. So you come into the company, you want to buy a property, we give you a form. Most of them don't even read it. They are not looking at the terms and conditions. They are not. They just fill the form, sign, and they are off.
What does the law really say about all this?
It behoves you as a person who is going into that contract to ask the details of the contract you want to enter. For instance, if you're buying land where you have subscribed to maybe an estate. So if at the end you're now being given a piece of land that is outside where you actually subscribe to, you can then have a case against that real estate company.
Although the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria denies that its members are part of the scam, it recognizes that there are sharp practices in the industry.
We have made so many pronouncements to the public that at any time, given time, anybody that was being defrauded by a developer happens to be a Radiant member, all we need from him is to bring their receipt. We will make sure we get funds for their money.
In 2021, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offense Commission (ICPC) uncovered a real estate scam in Abuja, the Nigerian capital, a situation that got the attention of the House of Representatives. Act 3 of 1992 established the National Housing Fund to mobilize funds that will facilitate the provision of affordable housing for Nigerians. Under the NHF law, every Nigerian earning more than 3,000 naira per annum is required to contribute 2.5% of their monthly basic salary to the fund. These deductions will then be made available to contributors at affordable interest rates to build homes. But the housing deficit in Nigeria seems to be getting worse, and fraudulent real estate companies are cashing in. In November 2021, the Senate passed the Real Estate Regulation and Development Bill to provide standardization in real estate development.
The essence of this bill is that anybody who is building above 5 houses, from 5 houses above, you must come and register with that council. And that council consists of all the professionals in the built industry. And before you do any estate, you must register, and we will do KYC. Who is behind this estate, who are your directors, who are this, and so forth, so that we make sure that that KYC will be a formidable thing that everybody doing any estate in Nigeria, we must make sure that that guy is being known by the authority concerned.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Some Nigerians like Shegun Alabi have had it good. He subscribed to a real estate company's monthly installment option for a piece of land.
I had to visit the company myself, and luckily for me, the day I went there, I met one of these Nollywood celebrities who happened to be one of the ambassadors to the company. So on getting there and seeing him, that gave me an encouragement that I'm in the right place. And as soon as I finished paying the whole money for the land, I was taken to where the piece of land is, and my own land was allocated.
Gist Nigeria reached out to the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority for clarification on how real estate is regulated in the state. But the special advisor to the governor on housing, Toke Benson Awoyinka, who leads the agency, was said to be busy with campaign activities and unavailable for comments. However, information on the agency's site indicates that LASRERA is saddled with the major task of registering and keeping data of all real estate practitioners in the state and prosecuting errant practitioners accused of defrauding citizens. So, how can you play in the real estate industry in Nigeria and come out unscathed?
People must actually know the location of where they intend to buy. Don't pay for anything in cash. Pay through electronic means, a source that can be verified. Before you buy a property, ask for the title document of that property and hand it over to a professional. Don't sign any document without having your lawyer beside you.
The disappointment experienced by Emmanuel and Osanrose could perhaps be a major smear on the real estate industry if nothing is done to stop the ugly trend. This is a major task that credible players in the industry see as non-negotiable. Sheyi Fumiolatide, Gist Nigeria.
All right, you're welcome back. Now, from the documentary, you will see that the aim of most of this real estate company basically was to solve the problem of the housing deficit that Nigeria has. And when you look at the trend of activities, you will notice that the stories are interconnected and, of course, almost related to what has happened. And the thing basically is that many of them started well with the intention of solving that problem. But you see, along the line, a lot of them got greedy. They became excessively greedy. And you know the thing about real estate investment in Nigeria is that when you become greedy, you begin to have several cases and issues that can even ruin your integrity and your reputation as a company. I decided to show you guys this documentary for you to know that a lot of people have been affected in doing real estate investment with the wrong set of people. I know over time, many of us have our preference for company. Many of us have our preference for choice of real estate consultants that we choose, to handle our transaction. Some of us have trust, and sometimes we even go as far as telling some of our friends about them. But what I want you to understand basically is that when you look at the statistics of scam in Lagos State, most especially in the real estate market, the reason why most of these guys have gotten away with it basically is that there is no regulatory body controlling real estate activities in Nigeria. If there is, I believe that some of these situations and these issues that have happened and that is still happening would have been reduced to its barest minimum. Now, Lagos State is the target market. Ibeju Lekki is the main thing. Ekpe is the main thing. Other parts of Lagos is also the main thing. Now, in the previous video, I mentioned that we have every Tom, Dick, and Harry setting up real estate company because the process is always flexible. You can set up a company, you can sell without, and of course, you can do whatever you want without nobody asking. Now, dear investors, both at home and in diaspora, I'm here to inform you guys that real estate scam is real. I've seen people who have bought different places in Ibeju Lekki, and the developers that sold to them cannot go there. They can't go there. Why? Because there are issues. I've seen instances whereby one real estate company are battling with another real estate company over a piece of land. I've seen different instances whereby family have sold one land to like 3 or 4 or 5 real estate developers. So right now, real estate, the search for virgin right now is the survival of the fittest. So most of these family who are selling this land understood this, and that's why they are always putting real estate companies at loggerheads. And this will continue to persist in case you don't know. And this is why you need to put some regulations and some safety precautions, which I will outline at the end of this video. Now, you now see the reason why you have to subscribe to the channel. You have to see the reason why you need to follow us so that we can help you not to make this investment. Now, why is this scam still going on? Why does it seem that this thing will not stop anytime soon? Now, let's take Ibeju Lekki as a case study. Ibeju Lekki is where we have the deep support. Ibeju Lekki is where we have the refinery. Of course, the newly commissioned deep support, which I mentioned, and of course, the proposed international airport. Ibeju Lekki is a home, to different infrastructures. Now, the reason why people will get scammed basically is that number one, many people are looking to buy cheap lands. And I've said it several times that if you are always insisting of buying a property of cheap lands without following the regulations, let me tell you one thing. I know a lot of investors who are waiting for the real estate price to crash. You see, in this market, let me just tell you the fact. Instead of it for it to crash, it will keep increasing because of demand. And the increasing demand for properties increases the chances of scam and other related fraudulent activities. So I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Looking for a price or a cheap property at a ridiculous rate will increase your chances of getting scammed. These guys understood the fact that what attracts people to do real estate investment is introducing ridiculous prices. Now, I've heard scenarios of some realtors offering investors ridiculous prices. Now, let me tell you one thing. Most of these companies that they claim that are giving you these discounts are giving disclaimer saying they don't know anything about it. See, I need you to understand that Nigeria is hard. Nigeria is tough. So many people are looking for what to eat. Many people are looking for how to survive. And in the process of survival, they will come up with anything to get money out of your pocket. And these guys understood very well that the more the offer is juicy, the more the offer is attractive, the higher the chances of you dropping your money without asking some certain questions. Am I saying all cheap properties are scam? Not at all. But I'm saying basically that when a property price becomes unnecessarily low and it is something you cannot have, that you cannot ascertain, you should be careful. You see, I've told people several times that Ibeju Lekki is not a place where you go and buy cheap properties. Number one, Ibeju Lekki will be controlled by the private sector and by government. See, do you notice that recently Lagos State government have stopped signing excision and they've stopped signing gazettes? That simply means that government has come to realization that even themselves, they can make a whole lot of money if they control some portions of land or control some parcels of land to themselves. And that is why recently now that they have made the process of, in fact, the process of getting land titles extremely difficult and expensive. So you must come to the realization that Ibeju Lekki is hot cake. Ibeju Lekki, for people who own titled properties in Ibeju Lekki, I want to say a big congratulations to them. You guys are going to be billionaires, okay? Now, one thing you must understand basically is that Lagos State have stopped signing excision and they stopped granting the gazettes. Okay, so people will come up with ideas on how to sell. Number one, stop always running after cheap properties, because these guys that are selling these properties to you, they know the mysteries behind getting title. More importantly, at Ibeju Lekki. But because of the fact that a lot of people are always interested, they don't buy unless it's cheap. That's why a lot of people fall for this scam. Then number two, you must do a profiling of the company you are about to invest with. You see, the reason why we don't come online to talk about companies basically is that even the big brands, when they started well, and they're still maintaining that, standard, but they are coming under intense pressure because some of these people are putting pressure on them to compromise their standard. So one of the ways you don't have to get scam, number one, is that be wary of extremely ridiculous cheap properties. More importantly, those who are offering you unreasonable discounts. Now, I'm not saying all discounts are not valid. Yes, they are not, but there's a risk. So today is not to discuss this. Today is not the time to discuss that. We'll come into that maybe in subsequent videos. But you need to understand this. Then number two, profiling of the company. What have they done? What can they deliver? How many estates have they delivered? What are the facilities they provided? What are these things that they've done? Okay, they said they've done phase one. Have you gone there to check what they did at phase one? Have you spoken with people who invested with them? Are they satisfied with the service? Because you see, if a developer collects your money or you pay into a real estate company and they didn't deliver, nobody will ask them anything. The Real Estate Developer Association of Nigeria is trying their best, But you see, we have so many real estate companies in the market today, and it's very hard. Okay, you know, in Nigeria, we don't keep record, we don't track activities. So sometimes it becomes extremely hard for this company to track their activities and control them. So you need to understand this. Cheap properties, you're always at risk. Ridiculous discounts, you're always at risk. Then number three, you need to carefully study the contract of sales and the FAQ, the frequently asked question, the form you fill before you buy a property. Many people don't even read these forms at all, and they buy. Don't you know that some of these things that are in their contract of sales, that are in the form you filled, is backing them up legally, even if they don't deliver? So you need to carefully understand this. Then number three, always check the activities. Always ask questions. A lot of people will just buy property and they will forget about it, which is not so. Now, the reason why a lot of them will have issues, more importantly, those who did the buy five get one free in Ibeju Lekki, the acquisition in process gain, is because of the fact that, let me tell you one thing. If you have bought a property for less than 1 million many years ago at Ibeju Lekki, there might be problem. And why the problem will arise basically is that, let's say for instance, you bought the land for 800,000, you did buy five to get one free. Acquisition in process. Many of them don't go to process acquisition. In fact, many of them don't even have the intention of processing acquisition. So when problem starts, even if you want to call for their heads, you see the contract of sale that they have given you, the form you have signed will carefully and totally exonerate them from any future problem. So right now, if you are doing an investment, whether at the deep sea port, whether at the international airport, most especially when we have this major project, if you are not going for a titled property, I will advise you leave that investment. Because you see, if you should buy a property that doesn't have a title, the amount of money you use to get the title, do you understand, on them will be ×2 of what someone that has a title is charging. So Ibeju Lekki, obviously right now, is going to be the next hottest zone, but you need to understand that number one, you have to stop purchase of untitled properties in that region. Number two, you need to read and ascertain the contract of sale you have been given very well. Number four, you need to engage a professional. More importantly, you need to carefully understand what you are getting yourself involved into before you keep signing. A lot of people just sign and they don't read. So these are the kind of things you need to put into adequate consideration before you deal with any real estate company. I'm not saying all real estate companies are scam, but you see some of the properties you have bought in Ibeju Lekki, if they're untitled, let me tell you, anything, government can come and sell it. Government can come in as far as that they did not give you title. If you go there with a contract of sale that they gave you, or a deed of assignment, or a survey, in as much as fact that the contract of sale is not registered with government, your survey is not registered with government, government don't recognize you as the original owner of the land. In fact, I've said this before, the people government recognize as owner of land are the people whose name are on the title of the property. That's why I used to tell people, if you should do a register survey, make sure that survey is lodged, so that when somebody, it becomes extremely difficult for somebody to do a title on a land that someone else has bought. And a land someone has bought is a land whereby, whether it is even survey, a registered survey, okay, make sure it is lodged that allows her, so that when they chart that place, your name will pop out on their system. And it makes title perfection easier for you. I really pity a lot of investors who are buying Ibeju Lekki and are doing provisional survey. Provisional survey, are you whining me? You have to go for a registered survey, and you have to see, for now, this is not the best time to do buy to 5 get 1 free. Because you see, the amount of money you use to do those 5, you will blame yourself that if you had known, you should have bought a title property. So this is how to avoid scam. Number one, you have to do a background check of the company. Number two, you have to read the document. In fact, if there are some terms you don't understand, get your lawyer involved. Let them carefully check these things. Number three, you need to ask question: who is handling that title perfection? More importantly, if that title is not perfect, you need to ask. Don't say because it is cheap or they're offering me free plot. Free plot, like if you don't have title on it, Lagos State will collect it. Or the plot you have bought, if there's no title on it, if somebody go to Alausa tomorrow now and pay them that, okay, this land, though, we like it, in as much as fact that your name is not registered with them at Alausa, they can easily sell it to another person that offers them the money. So the question is, you need to ask them, who's going to handle the title? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? This is how you don't fall into scam. This is how you don't follow. Are the things, the safety measures that you need to put into consideration when you are buying real estate. More importantly, in the hottest zone of Ibeju Lekki. So this is where I'm going to draw the curtain of today's episode of Property Matters. I hope I've been able to explain a lot. There's more, but I just can't exhaust everything in a single episode. But I look forward to explaining more, but I just wanted you guys to know that these are, so number one, do a title check. Number two, ask them who's going to fix the title. If they are fixing the title, know the amount of money that you will pay. Number three, a thorough background check, what they've done, okay, if they're capable. Number three, you need to read the contract of sales. If you don't understand some of the legal terms that are there, involve a lawyer. Involve a lawyer if you don't understand the terms, but if you have a professional who can read and carefully explain some of these things to you, all well and good. Okay, so these are some of the things you need to put into consideration until I come again your way again for another educative and of course insightful episode of Property Matters. Stay blessed. God bless you. Have a nice day. Bye.